Hello guys, and today I'm going to show you the top 5 best smartphones under $300. So before we start this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And with that being said, let's get started. So number 5 on the list is the Moto G7. The Moto G7 is a solid budget smartphone from Motorola, who have been cracking out some of the best smartphones for low prices for years, and this one at $200 is no exception. The design of the phone is great with a metal and glass build which looks really nice and feels premium in the hand. It comes in a few different color options as well, including black, blue, white and indigo, and all look really good in my opinion. The only thing about the build I don't like is the camera bump on the back, which makes it hard to use the phone when laid flat on a table, but other than that, it is solid. The phone is also quite thin at 8mm and weighs in at 172 grams. The display on the phone is also pretty good with a notched approach and really thin bezels. It is a 6.2-inch 2270 by 1080 IPS display that looks great for normal use and media consumption. Due to the thin bezels, it is quite immersive and has good brightness. The specs on the phone include the Snapdragon 632 CPU, 4GB of RAM, 64GB of storage, and a 3000 mAh battery. Performance on the phone is smooth due to the near stock Android experience and the fairly powerful CPU and GPU. Gaming performance is also pretty good and you get good FPS in most higher-end games as well. The battery life actually isn't too impressive. It features quite a small battery as compared to others at this price, and it shows. It isn't too bad at all though and can give you around 4 hours of screen on time. The cameras are actually a big improvement from the G6. With this, you get a 12MP plus 5MP back camera and an 8MP front camera. The main camera is capable of taking good true-to-life pictures along with having 4K recording capability. The front camera is also really good for a selfie cam, and for this price, it is better than what you would expect. Number 4 on the list is the Samsung Galaxy A50. The Samsung Galaxy A50 has a solid camera, an in-screen fingerprint reader, a headphone jack, and a long-lasting battery, all for $270. The design and build quality of the phone is really good and has a similar style to the Moto G7 with a glass and metal build that has a nice design. It has a more squared off look to it, and it too has different color options that all look unique and nice. There is also not a huge camera bump and lays quite flat on a table. The display here is excellent and is a 6.4-inch 2340 by 1080 Super AMOLED display with vibrant colors, deep blacks and good brightness. It has really small bezels with a small teardrop style notch, and it gives an immersive viewing and gaming experience. The specs on the phone include the Exynos 9610 CPU, 4GB of RAM, 128GB of storage and a 4000 mAh battery. Gaming performance is solid here and normal performance is solid as well. The only thing I don't like about this is the excessive bloatware on the firmware, which you can remove easily and quite quickly. The fingerprint reader is also really fast for an on-screen one and works well. The cameras are one of my favorite things about the phone, and it includes a 25 plus 8 plus 5MP sensors and a 25MP front camera. Both the back and front cameras take incredible photos for the price and are quite a bit better than the G7. The back camera also includes a wide-angle sensor, which is a great addition, and you can get some very interesting shots with it and can be very useful at times also. So number 3 on the list is the Huawei P9 Prime. The Huawei P9 Prime is one of the best fully bezel-less smartphones you can buy for under $250. For that price, you're getting an excellent display, good performance and a solid build. The build quality on this is another glass and metal build, but it has a unique two-tone look to it which looks nice with all of its different color options. Most phones today are built pretty well, and this too is the same, and I don't have any major complaints with this at all. The display on this is the biggest selling point for me personally. The display on this is a 6.6-inch 2340 by 1080 IPS display that even though doesn't look as good as the A50 in terms of colors, but it makes up for it in terms of immersing you into the game or video that you're watching due to it having minimal bezels and no notch. It still does look great with nice colors, good brightness and good viewing angles. Performance wise, this is a bit lower than some of the phones here, but is quite solid nonetheless. Its specs include the Kirin 710F processor, 4GB of RAM, 128GB of storage, which is also expandable, and a 4000 mAh battery. The phone performs really good overall, and multitasking, opening multiple apps, and even gaming isn't an issue. Cameras on this are good, and you also get a wide-angle camera here that you wouldn't expect for the price. The back cameras on this are triple 16MP plus 8MP plus 2MP sensors, and the front camera is a 16MP sensor. All the photos taken from this are sharp, having decent colors, and the wide-angle sensor is a really useful feature to have. Number 2 on the list is the Motorola One Action. The Motorola One Action is a very unique budget smartphone from Motorola that offers a unique looking display and great performance for $270. The build quality of the phone is great with a metal and glass build. It has a very narrow design which can help some time in gripping the phone, and it looks much more longer due to the 21:9 aspect ratio that is quite unique. It has IPX2 water resistant capacity, meaning it should be fine with some splashes and in rain. The display here is another unique one with a 6.3-inch 2520x1080 IPS panel with a hole punch style notch and a 21:9 aspect ratio. The hole punch is very reminiscent of the Samsung Galaxy S10e, and from the front it looks very similar to it. The panel itself also does have great clarity, very nice peak and low brightness, and good viewing angles. The specs on the phone include the Exynos 9609 processor, 4GB of RAM, 128GB of storage, and a 3500 mAh battery. As it is a Motorola phone, it does have a full stock Android experience, which feels really smooth, and you can expect regular updates on this as well. Most games perform incredibly well, and multitasking and everything else is easily doable here as well. Cameras on this are also pretty good for video recording, but in terms of photo quality, it isn't as great. You get another triple camera setup here with 12 plus 16 plus 5MP sensors and a 12MP front sensor. The really unique thing about this camera is that it has a dedicated video camera which provides better stability and a much smoother video overall, and there is also an ultra-wide sensor here, which is a plus as always. So number 1 on the list is the Xiaomi Mi 9T. The Xiaomi Mi 9T is definitely the best smartphone you can buy for $300, and nothing comes close to it in terms of value. It has some insane specs, a great looking build, a bezel-less display, and a 48MP triple camera setup along with that. The build quality and design of the phone is excellent with a glass and metal body and a Kevlar type design that looks very nice. It too comes in a few unique color options, and every one of them is good. There is no waterproofing on it, however, which is expected at this price, but it should be good for some splashes and for situations when there is rain. The display on this is absolutely excellent with a 6.4-inch 2340x1080 IPS display that has a 86.1 screen to body ratio and Corning Gorilla Glass 5. The display itself offers great looking colors and contrast, great sharpness, and it gets very bright as well. Other than that, I personally really like having a bezel-less look, and this for $300 is probably the best one. The specs on this is why the phone is a step up from the others. It comes with a Snapdragon 730 octa-core CPU, 6GB of RAM, 64GB of storage, and a 4000 mAh battery. Almost everything runs extremely smooth on this with minimal lag and hiccups, and I think this could be the best performing smartphone at this price range. Games run at high frame rates, and multitasking and using multiple apps isn't an issue at all, as it does a great job of having apps in memory due to the 6GB of RAM. The cameras and photo and video quality on this is also pretty excellent. You get a 48MP main sensor along with an 8MP telephoto and a 13MP wide sensor, and also a 20MP pop-up front camera. Photos taken with this are rich in detail, and the dynamic range and colors are pretty impressive considering the price. Overall, this phone is a complete package, and anyone who has $300 to spend can buy this without having to worry about anything. So that's it for the video guys, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.